So curious your thoughts after having a couple days to reflect on Black Mirror, Bandersnatch. There's been a lot of talk in the media, on social media, amongst our friends. I was like, is this the future of like television or film? And so you gave sort of a mixed to positive review in the paper, but now that you've thought about it, is this something that you want to see more content like this, regardless of whether or not this particular story was perfect or not perfect? Do you want to continue to play like this with your TV shows?
Well, I mean, I'm still, there's things that I thought when I was watching it that I still think. I mean, you have so many choices of what you can watch. So once I've chosen what I want to watch, Bandersnatch, do I want like a trillion other possibilities in there and 5 different endings? Not really. I don't know that I want that much work. And just in terms of, it's funny talking about it like, is this the future of TV? Because in a way, and as you know, as a gaming person, it's actually very retro in terms of, it's like retro gaming, right? It's like one of 2 choices. So, I mean, it's weird to say, is this the future? Because I feel like it's pulling us backwards somehow. Yeah. TV already feels really interactive because you're like making so many choices. There's so many things. It's like, what should I be watching? What should I be plugged into? I need to pay attention so I can talk about this. Do we really need to pick our cereal or, whether we're going to chop up the body or bury? I don't know. I think no. I don't want that.
But aren't you then excited like 45 minutes later when it re-references the cereal that you picked? You're like, oh, there it is.
Or it tells you to go back. It's like, oh, thanks. I just spent about 10 minutes going down wrong path.
Well, it's interesting you say it sort of goes back because like as someone who comes at it from like a plain sort of games perspective, like I feel like, there are still choose your own adventure games, but by and large they're like in the minority these days. Like games have sort of moved beyond it. When games try to act like TV shows, they're usually not great games, and when TV shows try to act like games, they're usually not great TV shows.
Right.
So it's not like we have to like invent a new medium. Like I felt when I was watching this actually like really frustrated because I discovered 3 of I think the 5 total endings, and like 2 of them, like one just sort of abruptly ended.
Right.
One was just sort of like a joke. So it was clearly like, okay, well, the writers of the show clearly didn't want me to go this route. So then I just kind of felt like manipulated. Like,
yeah.
It was like, just tell me what you think is the best ending.
Well, yeah, that's the whole thing. The manipulation, that's part of it, right? The whole idea is like the character in the story is being manipulated by you, but yet you're being manipulated by the show, which all of that's kind of like a funny mirror. There you go, mirror back and forth. But I think the idea too is like, I don't really like the manipulation in terms of like, well, we're also gathering market data about you. And I felt like that's what was happening too. And it's like, well, wait a minute, like why am I sitting here working to tell you more about like what I want to see in the next algorithm or whatever it is? And I just feel like I don't want that in my viewing time because it's already crowded enough,
Right. Yeah, I think the challenge is how do you do it so it doesn't feel like gimmick, and I think that's the problem, or I think that's sort of the reason like why games have sort of largely sort of moved beyond it, because it's sort of like if you have like 2 decisions and it's sort of like, say you want the main character to be generally a good person, so like you pick the decisions where like you think he's going to be a good person, and then it's like immediately the show like slaps you the other direction. So it's like, why did I pick that? Like if
you're punished for being a good person.
So it's sort of the whole point of the show is that I'm not really in control. Like it was obvious about 5 minutes in that was going to be like the thesis.
Right.
And it was just sort of like, well, yes, I know that.
I felt like the story would have been interesting just as a, what would you call it? Like a traditional, linear?
Sure.
Okay.
Linear, yeah.
It would have been interesting as a linear story. I kind of wanted to see it as a linear story because it was a distraction this way or that way or this way or that way. And I think the whole idea of like, okay, well, is this good for Netflix? Does it keep you on there longer? Does it offer something that nobody else offers? Maybe, but kind of like, so what?
I trust who's ever writing Black Mirror to come up with a better story than whoever is sitting on their couch watching Black Mirror. That's what I guess I'm getting at.
Right. See, I don't know if I will ever trust anyone again after Black Mirror, Bandersnatch. Well, I think it's an interesting thing to talk about anyway. And is it the future? I don't think so, but who knows?
Well, we're also cynics.
We're cynics. We're critics.